And we do start with some breaking news out of the Middle East. This is a live look at the Israel-Gaza border as we are again following breaking news. The Israeli military saying Monday that the body of a presumed hostage was found in a community near the Gaza border that Hamas militants attacked on October 7th. This comes as Palestinian health officials said Israeli strikes killed 11 people overnight into Monday, including a woman and 3 children in central Gaza. Israel, meanwhile, is looking into an alternative local governing body for Gaza, the defense minister saying on Sunday, proposing a future beyond Hamas, but giving no idea who those challengers might be. Also Sunday, officials from Egypt, Israel, and the U.S. ended a meeting in Cairo without any apparent agreement to reopen the Rafah crossing into Gaza, which has been closed since early May. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is facing growing pressure after President Biden announced a proposed agreement to end the fighting in Gaza, with many Israelis urging Netanyahu to accept the deal. Far-right allies, though, are threatening to collapse his government if he does. I do want to bring in Ken Gray, who is a senior lecturer at the University of New Haven and also a former special FBI agent. Ken, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Good morning, Stephanie. Glad to be with you again.
So I do want to start off with the breaking news and what this might indicate, if anything, as we have been hearing that Israel might be open to ceasefire negotiations.
So President Biden announced the details of the plan on Friday night, and in response to that, the streets of Tel Aviv were filled with protesters urging the Netanyahu government to accept this deal. This deal has, we know some of the issues within the deal, a 6-week-long ceasefire, a exchange of prisoners for hostages, and a significant increase in the amount of humanitarian aid getting into the Gaza Strip. Hamas seems to be ready to accept this deal. However, they want it to be a permanent ceasefire as opposed to a 6-week-long ceasefire. And they want a total withdrawal of IDF forces from the Gaza Strip as opposed to Israel having to have a partial withdrawal from there. Nonetheless, this framework is out there. Prime Minister Netanyahu is between a rock and a hard place because he's being placed in a position where he has to accept this deal, but it does not allow him to complete their primary mission of destroying Hamas. And he has members within his own cabinet that are threatening to walk and to pull his government down if he accepts this deal. So he is under a lot of pressure at this point as to whether or not he is actually going to accept this deal or not. We will see. But it's starting to look like that the amount of pressure on him is getting to a position where he's going to have to accept the deal, even if it means the dissolution of his government.
Which is an incredibly significant step right here. You know, going back to the fact that the Israeli military said that they found the body of a presumed hostage near the community where Hamas attacked on October 7th. Again, just heartbreaking news. But what might that indicate, if anything, with the remaining hostages still being held in captivity?
Well, this was Dolev Yehud, a 35-year-old Israeli. He was a paramedic in the kibbutz Deir Oz. He was presumed to be one of the hostages, but it appears that he died on October 7th during the invasion by Hamas into Israel. And so right now the numbers stand at, they believe that there are 85 hostages and the remains of 39 others who were taken into the Gaza Strip at this time. However, that 85 number, some of those may no longer be alive. So there really is no good intel as to exactly how many hostages are still alive and how many are dead. But nonetheless, Israel is intent on getting back all the hostages, whether they are alive or dead.
And let's also talk about the meeting in Cairo that happened over the weekend. Officials from Egypt, Israel, and the U.S. all came together to talk about the Rafah crossing. It does appear that there was no agreement to reopen it, but what is the significance in that, and why is it still closed?
So Israel, the IDF took control of the Rafah gate here about 2 weeks ago when they moved into Rafah. And so they could open the gate. The problem is that there's still fighting going on in the area. And so any humanitarian aid that comes through that gate would have to go into an active war zone where fighting is occurring on a daily basis. And so that's been the pileup of humanitarian aid being able to get through the Rafah gate. Instead, it's been coming through Karim Shalom, which is east of Rafah, there at the close to where Egypt, Israel, and the Gaza Strip meet. That has been the primary place. You remember that the pier that was supposed to help relieve some of this effort broke apart last week and had to be removed from the area and is being worked on before being placed again and try to get it operational again. But even when it was fully functional, it was not delivering the amount of humanitarian aid that is necessary to sustain Gaza. So Gaza, which was always under the threat of not having enough aid getting in there for the Palestinians, here has not been getting any aid or very little aid into the area. And so the humanitarian crisis that we've been talking about for the last month is only getting worse.
And there's been also a lot of discussion about post-war Gaza and what that might look like. Also on Sunday, the Israeli defense minister proposing a future beyond Hamas, but not really giving any details. You know, what are the options when it comes to post-war Gaza? Again, the two-state solution has been floated about. That's something that Netanyahu has said absolutely not. But what might be an option that Israel would be open to?
So while the extreme right within Netanyahu's government has been threatening to walk if they accept the deal, Benny Gantz, who is considered to be a moderate and a likely successor to Prime Minister Netanyahu, he has said that he is going to walk if Netanyahu does not come forward with a day after plan, saying what they're going to do with the Gaza Strip after they complete their mission there. One possibility is to have an international force come in to provide security for the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian Authority has also been floated as the one to come in and take control of it. Israel does not want to be in the position of having to run the Gaza Strip as they had been back before 2005. And they have no desire to be back in that situation again. And so there is no firm plan as to who is going to be providing services and providing security for the Gaza Strip. Hamas, of course, would like to be that body because it had been elected before. However, that's a non-starter with Israel also. Likely, it's going to be a combination of the Palestinian Authority and international troops, forces coming in to provide security. That's a likely possibility, but again, there is no specific plan in existence that I am aware of at this point. This is something that is still subject of having to be put together to satisfy the needs of all sides.
And again, the war in Gaza continues to be very divisive. On Friday, some congressional lawmakers, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, also Senator Chuck Schumer, inviting Netanyahu to speak before Congress. You know, what is the significance of that, and what might that message be? We understand that Netanyahu has agreed to do this.
The United States is the primary partner with Israel for the Middle East here. That is, Israel recognizes that the United States is a very, very important partner with them, as well as the United States recognizing Israel as an important partner. So, despite the efforts on the part of some within the United States to try to support pro-Palestine movement, there is nonetheless a recognition of the fact that Israel is an important partner with us. The Congress has invited Netanyahu to come and address them. Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that he is willing to travel to the United States and make that address in person. There has been no date set for that as of yet. I think that this decision to travel to the United States is going to be dependent upon what happens in the next couple of days as far as his own government goes, because Benny Gantz has threatened to pull out on June 8th, I believe it is. And you've got Ben Gvir and Smolich talking about collapsing the government if he makes moves to accept the deal. So Prime Minister Netanyahu is facing a lot of pressure from both inside Israel and from President Biden and the United States to come to terms with this deal. But just like Zelensky addressing Congress, getting support from the U.S. Congress for his efforts against Russia, Prime Minister Netanyahu is looking to try to address Congress to get their support for him. However, there are elements within Congress that are against Israel at this point. They are pro-Palestinian, and so he will not likely be meeting as receptive a group as President Zelensky was.
Ken, before we let you go, anything else that you are really looking ahead to? Because, again, there have been a lot of developments from Friday up until now and likely in the coming days as well. Anything that you are keeping a very close eye on?
Well, the devil is in the details with this plan, and we have yet to hear all the details that are listed in that plan. And I think that when we hear those details, we're likely going to see that Israel's intent to get rid of Hamas may be thwarted by this plan, because I think this plan will more or less guarantee that Hamas will continue to survive. And that's a non-starter for many people in Israel. After all, they were attacked by Hamas on October 7th. And so I am really looking forward to seeing the details of this plan that should be coming leaked out during this week. Anthony Blinken has been meeting with a number of different factions, and some of these details will come out from those meetings.
All right, Ken, as always, we thank you for taking the time to really flesh all of this out for us here on Live Now from Fox. We appreciate it.
Thank you.